My name's Dean, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm a final year psychology student. So you may be able to tell from my accent that I'm originally from Dublin, but when I was really young my family moved down to Laytown, so pretty much every day I commute here to DCU. So I'm running for welfare and equality because I'm really interested in making a daily difference for DCU students. I know that it can be scary starting college, especially from my own experience. I was 17 when I started, I didn't know who I was, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I really think the SU can play a really influential role in that. So I want students to worry about their degree and making friends, and not about whether or not they can afford accommodation or whether they can have food to eat this week or anything like that. So I really want my role on the SU to improve those things so students only have to worry about going to class and making friends and going to Newberg, getting goujons, all of those things. Nothing about accommodation or anything. If I had to pick someone, I'd probably say my parents. So neither of my parents ever had the opportunity to come to university, and they sacrificed and worked a lot to make sure that I could be here. You know, even as a HEAR scheme student, even as a Susie Grant recipient, my parents still put in a lot of work to make sure that I could be here. So the sacrifices that they've made and the dedication they've had to give me an opportunity that they never had is really inspiring for me. I think it is a story for a lot of students in DCU. So yeah, probably my parents. So one of the things that I've had to figure out as the degree has gone on is being able to balance the amount of work that I'm doing versus, you know, having that spare time for myself. So really at the beginning of the degree, I think a lot of people when you come into college, you hear the phrase of say yes to everything, get involved in everything. And while I do think those things are important, I think you shouldn't work yourself to a point of exhaustion. So that's something I've been working on over the last few years. It's something I'm still working on now, finding that balance. But it's definitely, if I had to pick something, that would probably be it. It's finding that balance and managing self-care. So yeah. When it comes to my society stuff, probably the thing that I'm most proud of is starting DCU SU's Rainbow Week with DCU LGBTA and then also Aisling Fagan on the SU. It was something that the LGBT Society here really wanted for a long time, but we were never able to kind of bring to fruition. So being part of that and being able to see it grow over the last number of years, I mean, last week, I think we can all say that we saw at least one different society or one different club or one different DCU organization change the logos. And I think the most important thing about that is we probably won't see all the effects because the effects will be between people and people will get to see themselves represented and probably won't even hear all of those stories. So being part of that and getting to see it grow is really important to me. So probably the thing that I'm most excited for is to get to meet a bunch of different people on the campaign trail and getting to see what other people's opinions are. I think I've very much kind of operated in a bubble of my societies and my degree, and so I do have my own ideas about what I think would really help DCU students, but I'd love to hear from other people and kind of talk to them, get to know them, and make sure that people know who I am. And I think students' union officers who kind of get elected and then spend their year in the office and you never see them again don't really make the difference that someone who you get to see all the time is. So I really want to be on the ground and I want to make sure people know who I am, and I want to make sure that I'm approachable and that people can talk to me, so getting to know other people. So in my third year Christmas exams, I was really far behind. I was going through a really bad bout of depression, like even the small stuff of waking up or having breakfast or brushing my teeth, like all of those things seemed really impossible. But I dealt with a lot of shame of feeling like I wasn't trying hard enough or I wasn't persevering hard enough, and I think a lot of people deal with that shame. But it wasn't until I spoke with the Students' Union officers, in particular Aisling, she was like, listen, I think you should defer, that I eventually did, and I'm a lot better for it now. You know, I did really well in my summer exams during that deferral period, and so especially coming from someone who like really relied on their academics coming into university, it was a really big step for me to go through with the deferral. So yeah, it's probably the biggest obstacle I've overcome. I think in certain ways, you know, I've been good at looking after my mental health. You know, I talked about deferring exams, chairing Mental Health Society this year, but something I kind of neglect, and I think a lot of students neglect, is also your physical health. So I haven't really been involved in any sporting activities. I'm not really good at making sure I have breakfast every morning, and the longer I go on in my degree, the more I notice that these things really matter. So I wish I was better at looking after myself in that sense. And so that's why I want to do stuff like getting cereal on campus and other things like that. And yeah, I think definitely as like a more smaller guy coming into college, I always felt like I didn't really fit in with sporting stuff. So I think working on that and overcoming that and dealing with that self-stigma, and then also maybe potentially working with other people who are going through the same thing, I'd love to do that more. Make sure to vote for me number 1 for DCUSU's Vice President for Welfare and Equality starting on March 4th at 7 a.m.